Hi everyone, myself Dr. Manjunatha C, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, RV College of Engineering, Bangalore, India. In this video, I would like to give you brief overview about the research work related to coronavirus. The research work titled Design and Development of Smart and Safe Helmet for Inhibiting COVID-19 Virus Infection. A simple idea for solving a big crisis, being published in the journal called Coronaviruses. This is managed by Bentham Science. What is special about this Bentham Science and this coronavirus? We'll see in the next slide. Bentham Science is an STM publisher currently publishing more than 100 journals. It mainly focuses on pharmaceutical research, medicinal sciences. Among this, coronavirus is one such journal started in this year after this COVID-19 pandemic, managed by Nobel laureate. The journal editorial team is headed by Dr. Farid Murad. He is a Nobel Prize winner and American pharmacologist. He received Nobel Prize in 1998 along with Robert F. Fugate and Luis J. Ignaro for the discovery that nitric oxide acts as a signaling molecule in the cardiovascular system when he was working as a professor in the University of Texas Medical School at Austin, USA. So he is one of the editorial honorary member for this journal, and the editor-in-chief of this journal is Dr. Jean-Marc Sabatier. He is a director for CNRS. CNRS is a French National Center for Scientific Research, which is coming under French Ministry of Higher Education Research. A professor is not just an editor-in-chief for this coronavirus, he is also editor-in-chief for many other journals like Infectious Disorders, Drug Targets, Genomes and Toxins, Antibiotics, and he is also chief guest editor for Frontiers in Pharmacology. He is also editorial board member for about 60 other journals. He has published more than 150 articles and he has 53 patents, 174 Congress reports in peptide and protein chemistry, and he has a H-index of 39. I'm very excited that my idea of smart helmet for combating COVID-19 work is recommended by them for publication in this journal. Next, let us look at the background and motivation for this work. Since last 1 year, we all witnessed the effect of COVID-19 pandemic across the world due to novel coronavirus disease. As on today, that is 24th December 2020, this coronavirus is infected in more than 78 million and killed 17 lakh, more than 17 lakh people across the world in almost 200 countries. It is very unfortunate and unexpected. Seriously, this issue made me to think for a better solution for this crisis. The main reason for this crisis is that the world was not prepared for this unexpected, unpredicted COVID-19 disease and also its severity. Due to COVID-19, most of the countries have implemented mass quarantine, lockdown, shutdown of the most of the daily activities for almost a year. Because of that, global economy is plunged into worst recession since World War II. This was actually a statement made by the World Bank. The global economy could suffer between 5.8 to 8.8 US US dollars, 8.8 trillion US dollars in losses. It is almost equivalent to 6.4% to 9.7% of global GDP as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic. The world biggest pharmaceutical companies are in the race to find a suitable medicine for this COVID-19. However, they are not successful yet. After this COVID-19, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, cut its GDP projections for all the regions. Earlier, it was projected, this was the projected GDPs before COVID-19, but after COVID-19, the projected GDP is all negative for most of the developed countries. This is for the world GDP, and this is for the US and China, Japan, and Germany. China was projected was this much, but it is somehow it is managed slightly positive. But however, all the other countries, the projected GDP is negative. The main reason for global economic loss was global shutdown. Lockdown, shutdown, home quarantine was the only best solution to prevent spreading of coronavirus. Therefore, it was strongly implemented. As we are slowly recovering from this COVID-19 and started managing daily activities, unfortunately, there is another virus, a new variant of coronavirus has been detected in UK very recently. My question is, lockdown, shutdown, quarantine are the only solution to manage this crisis? We know that it takes 1 to 2 years to discover and optimize the new medicine. For COVID-19 only, the medicine is not yet completely optimized. Suppose if another new virus is deadlier and more dangerous than the current coronavirus emerges in 6 months or a year, we can't predict that. Suppose if it appears. Again, it takes another 1 to 2 years for finding a medicine for those viruses. Again, same shutdown, lockdown, quarantine will be implemented. How long we should manage the crisis like this? Is there any other alternative? Virus population increases only if it transmits from person to person. If we can stop the virus entering into human body itself, we can stop spreading the virus. Keeping this in mind, I proposed a smart helmet in this article. In this article, I have discussed the chemical structure of coronavirus and its composition and functionalities. Also, how this coronavirus enters into human cells and how it destroys the cells. The coronavirus is having a spike protein which is on the surface of the coronavirus, and it is made up of envelope protein. This is the envelope protein, and inside we have RNA, ribonucleic acid. So this is the digital image representation of coronavirus. However, if you can see that coronavirus in the transmission electron microscope images, this is how they look like. So these are the actual images of that coronavirus. Next, let us look at how it affects the human cells. The SARS-CoV-2 virus enters into human body. This is the SARS-CoV-2. This has a spike protein RNA which is present. When we breathe the infected air, okay, that SARS-CoV-2, yeah, this is the human cell which is present in the lungs. This is the SARS-CoV-2, enters into the human body through air breathing, and the spike protein which is present on the surface of SARS-CoV-2, it forms a bond with ACE2, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, which is present on the surface of human cell. It will form a bond with that spike protein which is present on the surface. Here you can consider this as a key and this as a lock. So this key opens this lock and then enters into the cell. This ACE2 present on the human cell pulls that coronavirus inside. Then that coronavirus enters inside the human cell and releases RNA. See, it is releasing RNA. So once that RNA is released inside the cell, our cell reads RNA requirement and starts preparing required proteins and other biomolecules. So those new proteins and biomolecules, they combine with this RNA and starts producing new coronaviruses. So this process continues and starts producing more and more number of coronaviruses inside the human cell. Finally, the infected cell bursts out and releases viruses out. So this is the virus, coronavirus, which is created inside the cell, which is coming out. And this cell again starts entering into new healthy cells and start producing more and more cells inside the lungs. With the progress of dying the cells, that fluid is formed in the lungs, which decreases the efficiency of the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between lungs and blood. This leads to difficulty in breathing, and finally respiratory failure results in death. So this is how that coronavirus affects the human cell in the body. The main reason for multiplying the various number is due to entry of the virus inside the body. If you can prevent the entry of virus, the problem of COVID-19 cannot exist. If you stop virus outside, it will die automatically after some days. Keeping this in mind, instead of mass quarantining the people, just cover their head with this smart helmet and allow them be in normal life. Now let me explain the design and working of the smart helmet that I proposed in this article. This is the important part of this article. This smart helmet has 6 important components. The first one is air pumping unit. This is the air pumping unit, which pumps the air from outside into the inside the helmet for breathing, and which has a air controlling unit. Then we have a air purification unit. This is air purification unit, air pumping, air purification unit. Then we have a air cooling unit. Then we have a sensor, and which is embedded with air quality monitoring mobile app. And then we have a suction pump to take out the carbon dioxide after breathing. And then we have a power bank. Okay, so let us understand the working of each component in this smart helmet. So here we are circulating air using the air pump into the glass tube, which will be in spiral shape, which is having coated with a photocatalyst, and this is embedded with UV light. When we pass the air, which is having a microorganisms and these viruses, that air passes through this pipe, which are in spiral shape, exposed to UV light, and inside the tube we have coated with nano photocatalyst. So because of the UV light and photocatalyst, the virus undergo photocatalytic degradation. Because the surface of the spike protein and all, there are many reports confirms that these biomolecules, proteins, RNA, lipids, they undergo degradation in the presence of photocatalyst and UV light. So this is one way of killing the virus. So once we pass that air through this UV light, it is again made to pass through this hot copper tube, which is also in spiral shape. The intention of spiral shape is that air should pass more time. So if the air is exposed, if the microorganisms are exposed to UV light for more time, then the degradation rate is high. So here the copper is also in the spiral shape, so that it is covered with heater, which provides a temperature of 100 to 300 degrees centigrade. At that temperature, that microorganisms, bacteria and virus, they will decompose. There are some reports in which at high temperature, this protein and lipids membrane and all, they loses their structure. If the spike protein loses its structure, then it cannot react with that ACU2 component of cell, then that virus cannot enter inside the cell. That is one way of uh, stopping the coronavirus spreading. Okay, so this is air purification unit. We have a UV and also we have a heater. So then we get hot air, which is actually expected to be free from microorganisms, virus and bacteria, especially that coronavirus. This will kill all the virus, not only coronavirus. Even in future, if any new viruses emerges also, those viruses also can be decomposed by using these two components. Then the hot air is made to pass through air cooler. That air cooler is embedded with a nanomembrane which has a air filter, and also that absorbs carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. I have in the article I mentioned what are the nano catalyst adsorbents should be used based on the published article to filter the unwanted gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and all. So then it is made to pass through a sensor. This can sense the presence of or absence of virus, bacteria, and also what type of gas that is coming out. So based then that sensor is embedded with uh, a mobile application. So the sensor enabled with IoT, that is mobile application. In the screen, it will show the quality of air and also whether it is having any viruses or bacteria and sensors. Suppose if they escape from this, that can also be monitored here. So then we inhale the pure oxygen. Then the carbon dioxide after inhaling is using this suction pump, it is taken out. Okay, uh, for uh, for speaking and also for hearing, the speaker and also the earphone can be embedded in this helmet. So this is a schematic representation of all the working of all the six components, and all the components are connected to power bank for their working. And let us look at the working the schematic, the airflow in this smart helmet. In the This is the air which has assumed that it is having a coronavirus like this, and that coronavirus, the chemical composition will be like this. These are the chemical components, RNA of the bacteria, and this has a lipid, protein, etc. So this is the chemical composition present in this virus, and is having a moisture and oxygen. uh, First, that air is made to pass through this UV irradiated tube. uh, that UV irradiated tube is embedded with a photocatalyst, and the UV light, which is around 200 to 300 nanometer light, is used, so that that UV in the presence of photocatalyst degrades most of the microorganisms and also the viruses. Then that UV treated air is made to pass through heater, that is copper tube, at 300 degrees centigrade. That also kills or destroy the structure of the biomolecules. Then that hot air is made to pass through the air cooler. Then we will have a nano membrane which is embedded with nano adsorbents which absorb all the gases. Then we have a gas quality monitoring sensors here. It will show the quality of the pure air. Then that pure air is inhaled. This is the overall working of this helmet. So in the article with the um, supporting documents, the working mechanism of UV, the photocatalytic degradation of these biomolecules present in the virus, and also the purpose of using copper, and its effect of temperature on the structure of this coronavirus and all, and other bacteria, microorganisms, is explained with the supporting mechanism. Okay. Finally, to stop this uncontrolled spreading of coronavirus, or in future if any kind of deadly virus emerges, the possible implementable scientific solution, that is a smart helmet, is proposed in this article. Suppose if new viruses emerges every year, Are we ready to discover new medicine immediately? The answer is no. The only best solution is quarantining the people. That is the only practice that is adopted across the world. So this quarantining the people will again leading to global economic crash. Instead of developing this type of smart helmet and made available for everyone, so that they will be using and can be as usual in their daily activities. So if everybody gets this type of smart helmet, they can wear this. Even if any deadly viruses, if it appears emerges in future, people can wear this and they can go to their regular work. They can be as usual in their daily activities. If such a protective device is available, then people across the world lead their life without any fear, tension, and panic that we have experienced in last 1 year because of this COVID-19 disease. And all the people can work in public and no need to shut down the schools, colleges, activities, all the companies, the manufacturing industries. Everything can be as usual. People can travel air, in the flights and buses and trains as usual. So everything will be normal if this can be effectively designed and implemented. So thank you all. For any queries, please contact this address. This is the postal address and this is my email ID. If you have any questions or queries, please email me. And I thank everyone for listening, and I thank Bentham Science and also RB. And I thank my sincere thank to the management of Rashtriya Shikshana Samiti Trust and also the respected principal Professor K.N. Subramania sir of RB College of Engineering, Bangalore, India, for their constant support and encouragement.